And tonight we are going to be chatting about becoming a master storyteller. Now, I did a video in Oily Gurus Worldwide, and it's also in Believe Team. I've pinned it. I'll include a link to it when I share this recording in Believe Team. But it was on the art of storytelling. I did a part 1 and part 2, and it was early on in my Young Living business career. But it's kind of become like a thing in our Oily Gurus community that people watch that video as part of their business training, because the concept, which is not new to me, but the concept is so powerful and needed, and it's such a good, assuring reminder. So I encourage you to watch that whole thing because it's 30 minutes of training, and there's also a really cool story I tell at the end. I get a little choked up, and it's just a really powerful training. But there's a basic sales premise. And if you have a notebook and a pen, this is something I want you to write down in like big, bold letters. Make it big, make it take a couple of lines even, okay? Here's what you're gonna write. This is the basic sales premise. 2 sentences: facts, tell; stories, sell. We've all known this. This is not new, but we need this reminder. So big, bold letters: facts, tell, stories, sell. And now, even though you're muted, we're all going to say those 4 words together, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Facts, tell, stories, sell. You got it. Good job. Okay, now we are selling all the time in life. So tonight we're talking about Young Living business, and we are in a sales business, but we're selling all the time. Whenever you're trying to persuade someone, your husband, your kids, your mom, you're trying to inspire someone, you are selling. You're presenting something that you hope they will embrace. Okay, that's a very basic way of talking about sales. So this is a concept that I want you to apply in your Young Living business, but I also want you to see that this can be effective in all areas of your life and helpful in all areas of your life. So humans respond to stories. And I want you to think about why. Why do we, since the beginning of time, why do we respond so well to stories? Anybody have an idea? You want to unmute yourself and tell us why you think humans respond to stories? Any thoughts? Jeannie. Suzanne, well, okay. I was gonna say if Suzanne wants to go in while Jeannie's unmuting herself.
Me.
Yeah, go ahead, Suzanne.
Because we can relate 9 times out of 10 with what they have going on.
That's good. So stories are relatable. We see kind of what the connection is for me with that. That's good. Jeannie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say stories are more personal.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Anybody else have any other thoughts why human nature responds to stories? My thought is that stories connect with our emotions, which is what we've said. It's more personal, it's relatable. So you take knowledge and you connect it with emotion, and you've got a really powerful combination. If you think about the Bible, greatest book of all time, it is full of stories that represent deep truths. So we tell the Bible stories over and over because we can relate to the story, and then we uncover deeper truths through them. If the whole Bible was set up like the 10 Commandments, it wouldn't hit us the same way, right? So there's a need for facts, right? The 10 Commandments, there's a need for facts. But I think God knew we respond best through stories if we want to see change and transformation take place. Picture you sitting in a lecture room. Yes, Ashley, Jesus was the ultimate storyteller. He spoke in parables and stories, and that is what connects with us. It's a concept and a principle of life and leadership. Okay, picture yourself sitting in a lecture before COVID, and we could actually sit in lectures with other people and we're listening to someone on a stage. What keeps your attention more? Someone who spouts off fact after fact after bullet point after research study, or someone who intersperses a lot of stories in with their bullet points? It's the stories person. That's who's going to keep our attention more. Now, facts are important. And for those of you who do the color personalities, those of us who are green on the personality scale, we like our facts. We absolutely do. We probably like facts more than anybody else likes facts, right? So you have to know your audience. And there are some people that are going to need to know the research study, the scientific evidence, the this and that. Got it. The majority of people, though, they just want the stories. And even the greens, even though we need a little facts for verification, we still really respond well to the stories. I think that when you're presenting, your story to fact ratio should be 8-2, right? 80% story, 20% facts. Oftentimes though, guys, we mix it up. And we feel like we've got to share all the facts, all the research, all the data, and then the story gets kind of lost in the shuffle. So if your conversion for when you're doing presentations maybe isn't as high as you want it to be, it could be that your facts to stories ratio is off a little bit and you need to incorporate more stories. So an ultimate goal in our Young Living business is not just to sell kits, right? We know that, but we need to be reminded the ultimate goal is not just to sell kits. My ultimate goal, and I think it's yours as well, is that we can help people on this lifestyle journey of transformation. We want them to see and experience the same results we have experienced. We want them to grow and to understand more about wellness and transformation. Okay, not just sell kits, but people need to get the why at a deeper level. Why do they need these oils? Why do they need to spend $165? Why do they need to get on Essential Rewards? And they're going to remember your stories about why more than they're going to remember the facts. For example, early on, when we were doing a lot of intro classes, we probably did 4 to 6 intro classes a month my first year. And we grew to silver in 13 months, from starter kit to silver, 13 months. And we were doing intro classes, 4 to 5, 4 to 6 a month. And I told my peppermint story about what was my aha moment at every single class. And to this day, several of you could recite the peppermint story. You know exactly what it is. I see you smiling, thinking about it right now. You remember that more than you remember anything I ever said about seed to seal or the quality or the history of oils. You remember my peppermint story. Okay, that's what people are going to remember about you. Jeannie, I'm asking to unmute you, so I think you have to respond on your end. Go ahead.
That's why I joined Young Living, is your peppermint story.
It wasn't my awesome explanation of seed to seal or the history of essential oils.
No, it was your sick kid, and it was Sunday.
My sick kid on a Sunday. There you go. That's what resonated. There's the power of it for sure. I have a story to tell you to illustrate this. So I've recently been talking with a friend of mine who's very nerdy, very scientific. And he's a tough nut to crack when it comes to this Young Living journey and deciding to get a kit. Okay. So I recently reached out with the sale, told him about it. And he's like, well, I'm not really interested in those oils, but I am kind of interested in CBD oil for my cat. What can you do to help me? CBD oil for a cat? I've not seen a research study about that. I know he's going to want a research study. He's going to want the scientific facts about all of it. And I said, okay, well, I have a YouTube link of our team talking about CBD and sharing some of our stories. I could send that to you if you'd want to watch it. Because yeah, I'll watch it. So a couple weeks go by. He gets with me this last week. And again, he is skeptical to the hilt and scientific night and day. Jeannie knows who I'm talking about. So he comes up to me and he says, hey, I watched that video about CBD. And I was really impressed with all those stories that people told about using CBD in their own life. I don't know exactly how I'll use it for my cat, but I would think I want to talk about it a little bit more. Okay, let's talk. What got his attention? The stories of people seeing results in their own life. Never underestimate the power of stories. Here's another example. Say that we're going to talk about Ningxia Red. Okay, what would be more convincing for you to get Ningxia Red? Would it be the facts presentation of Ningxia Red? It has the highest ORAC score of any fruits and vegetables. It's super high in antioxidants. You can eat 22,000 pounds of blueberries in 1 ounce of Ningxia Red. A little sarcastic here, just seeing if you're with me. It helps combat oxidative stress and free radicals, and Ningxia Red is what you need to do for your health. You're probably sitting there like, what in the world? I can't understand that Ningxia Red drink, so I'm gonna say no, because there's too many facts. If people say, I need to think about that, you know what I've learned? I've learned it the hard way. It means I've given them too much to think about. I've given them too many facts. If they respond with, I'm gonna have to think about that. Or would you rather hear me say, I don't know about all that with Ningxia Red, but what I do know is within a month of starting to use it, I had way more sustained energy. My moods were more level, and my PMS symptoms went almost to nothing. I believe that Ningxia Red is the reason that my family is so well and our immune systems are so rock solid, and I won't go a day without it. It's priceless in our house. Whew, that hit you on a different level, didn't it? Now, some of the facts are important. I'm not saying don't share them, but we need to be heavier on the stories, because that's where the passion comes out. I got way more excited telling you about my hormone helper with Ningxia Red than I did about the pounds of blueberries that are in it. Okay, do you see and feel the difference here? Okay. I love this concept because it's just so easy and it's like, duh, but we put pressure on ourselves to get into another mode of fact telling. Okay, this is your turn, and we're going to get into some breakout rooms here in a second. I'm actually going to stop recording. So for those of you who watch the recording later, hope this was helpful for you.